It doesn't really matter that there were some other stories about Yusuf alayhi salam from when he was a child, that he was raised by his aunt for a little bit of time, and his aunt, she fell in love with him like everybody falls in love with Yusuf alayhi salam. She fell in love with him, she didn't want to let him go, and so what she did was she took like some cloth of hers and she hid it on his person. Basically she hid it with him in his possessions when he was supposed to be sent back to his father, and then she all of a sudden made a whole scenario. My scarf or whatever is missing, and they looked in Yusuf's bag and they're like, oh, see, he has it in his bag, so I get to keep him to myself. Because remember we said what? جَزَاؤُهُ مَنْ وَجِدَ فِي رَحْلِهِ فَهُوَ جَزَاؤُهُ. That was from Yaqub alayhi salam's sharia, right? So look, he took it, so I get to keep him with me. They did some investigating, they were like, listen, he didn't take anything that belongs to you, let him go, he's just a kid. So then the brothers might be going off on that old story. Well, he was accused of theft back in the day, Yusuf was, and what a surprise that Binyamin is following in his brother's footsteps. So they're just saying all these kinds of things. Look at how quick they are to make a judgment without actually investigating, they didn't even try to defend their brother. They didn't even say, no, Binyamin is not like that. No, our brother wouldn't do that. When would he have done this? He didn't put it in the bag. You guys are the ones who put everything inside of the bags. He didn't even have his bag with him. If they just took a couple of moments to just think and defend their brother, and not be selfish, not look after their own interests, not look after their own self-image. Instead, just like, let's just think about it critically for a couple of moments. Remember, emotional intelligence. Let's just think about what's happening before we say something. They didn't practice any of that. Right away, they just throw him under the bus. But if you think for 2 minutes, you would realize that Binyamin never even had his bag with him. The bags are in the possession of the people who are loading the bags. So it's like, hey, how could he have done this, man? It's not possible. They could have easily said that, but no, there's no defense. They immediately, throw their brother under the bus. Yusuf alayhi salam's like, man, you've become worse people than when I knew you in the past. You've become even worse than, I knew you. Like, how did that happen? That's what happens, right? People have this, I remember, someone telling me a long time ago, I told them, well, you should start praying, we're not getting any younger. This is back when we were teenagers. I was like, maybe we should just start praying. Like, what do you think? A couple times a day. It doesn't have to be all 5. Pray a couple times a day. You should look into it and stuff. I'll pray when I'm older. Like, yeah, it's interesting, Islam is there, but I'll pray when I'm older. I'll pray when again, the hidden assumption is what? That I'm going to get older one day. I will be a grandfather, grandmother one day. I'm going to have grandkids one day. When I get older, then who told you you're going to get older? Who made you that promise? ir-Rahman ahda, did you make a promise with Allah? Allah give me 70 years of my life. When I'm age 40, then I'm going to start practicing. Is that what you did? You signed a contract with Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to say something so boldly? By the way, that same person, those same people now, they are like completely, they're not Muslim. They don't claim Islam at all. Right? They actually make fun of Islam. And that's what happens. A person becomes more cemented in the way they are. You see what's happening in the news, these kinds of people. It's not like they perpetrate one crime and then feel like terrible, like, oh, I shouldn't have done this evil thing. I make tawbah, I'm going to become a better person. No, these guys, Netanyahu and Trump and all of these people, they become worse by the day. They double down, triple down, quadruple down. They just become worse and worse and worse people over time. A person thinks that after I do these things, I get it out of my system, I'm going to become better one day. That's not what happens. They actually end up becoming worse. Because they will find reasons to justify it. A person becomes cemented. These habits become cemented in who they are. And these brothers, Yusuf alayhi salam's like, man, you guys did that bad thing back then, and look at you, you are now at the point of slandering a dead man. Because in their eyes, Yusuf is already dead. So now you are here labeling and accusing a dead man. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, لَا تَسُبُّ الْأَمْوَاتِ, do not insult those who are dead, those who have passed away. Because you don't hurt them at all in their grave. You are only hurting the living. You are hurting the family. Right? The people are those people who they left behind. You're just hurting their feelings. Oh, you said this about my grandfather, he's already passed away. And so that's why these disbelievers, by the way, when they insult the Prophet ﷺ, this is like them spitting into the sun. The spit falls back in their face. It doesn't do anything to him ﷺ. But it's there, they insult him ﷺ to enrage you and I, to get a reaction out of us. For us to do something stupid, for us to go and break some windows for some business, or paint some cars with graffiti, or spray paint something, or flip cars and throw them, set them on fire. Crazy stuff that people do around the world. Whenever and this happens annually, right? Some stupid person says something about the Prophet ﷺ, and then thousands of Muslims go in the streets burning things. Is that the prophetic way? Right here, right here. The brothers are slandering Yusuf alayhi salam to his face, that he's a thief, he's a this, he's a this. This is what they're saying. Yusuf alayhi salam keeps it to himself. He's like, in his mind, he's thinking, you people are, just digging yourselves further into the ground. That's what you're doing. Eventually, all of this will come out. That should be our reaction to these things. So when they insult our Prophet ﷺ, when they insult the deen, it's like they're spitting into the sun. They don't hurt the deen, they don't hurt the Prophet ﷺ, but they're doing it to get a reaction out of you. Don't give them that reaction.